Hi friends, so it's been a little while since I've done a podcast, and there's a few reasons for that. One is that I've been busy at home with various things. Summer is always busy. I've been also doing some other projects, but and another reason is, and I've mentioned this before, is that I'm a little bit sort of depressed about the state of the left at the present time. And sorry, this phone's jiggling around a bit. And so also my internet is out for the next couple of days, so hopefully I'll be able to upload this before it, because I'm down by the river where there is internet, but at home there is none at the moment. So anyway, yes, I've been a bit depressed about the left and how they've become this grifty shit show. Excuse me wearing sunglasses, it's just a bit glary by the river here. It's been a grifty shit show, and I really sort of am finding I'm a bit at a loss for motivation to do much. I'm not set up to interview anybody still because I'm busy doing stuff on the house, and so I'm not really that plugged into the shit show that is the so-called left at the moment. But hopefully that will pass. I'm just going through a bit of a sort of a reassessing of some things in relation to that, and also thinking of ways that I might be better served doing. So we'll have to see. Anyway, so my apologies to anybody who normally follows this channel and who might be wondering why I haven't been posting much lately. And it's not like I've given up or anything. It's just that I need to have a break and to reassess and maybe sort of re-examine what I might need to do in future. That is of some benefit, hopefully, some small benefit to the universe. It's always difficult sometimes when the various things that you try to do feel like they start to become not very effective, and so then you have to reassess and try and think of ways that might be a better use of your time. So anyway, but it's a lovely day here in Tasmania, beautiful weather. The summer has been incredibly mild, which is lovely. I mean, about 3 years ago, we had terrible forest fires across the river. 180,000 hectares of land, of beautiful forest was destroyed. Along with that, probably many non-human animals as well. And, their lives destroyed as usual. We're taking everybody with us in our dysfunction and in our non-veganism. And I hope that if you ever make any sort of New Year's resolutions, that you think about becoming vegan. That's an important thing. I talk about this all the time, how not only is it a first step to a non-violent life, but it's also something that is totally connected with all these other forms of discrimination that we see becoming increasingly more prevalent, and as well as the imperialism. All these forms of discrimination are all connected. They're all forms of violence. They're all faces of the same ignorance. They all lead to violence. And where you have one form of discrimination, speciesism, which is non-veganism, you have all forms. So that's why I mention it, because non-human animals are here on the planet. They're 99.99% of the planet's population. They deserve respect. They deserve not to be used as resources and property. And so, the minimum standard of decency is to become vegan. So I hope that if you are sort of wavering on that decision, that you check out my vegan podcast, howtogovegan.org. It's a comprehensive vegan resource and podcast form that I made about 5 years ago. And I think that some people find it beneficial. I think you will. It's not focused on health. It's not focused on the environment, although they are ancillary benefits of veganism. They are about what veganism is, which is it's an ethical position, just like any other ethical position. For example, anti-racism and all of that. It should be taken as seriously as any of those forms of any of those forms that reject any form of discrimination, sexism, heterosexism, racism, and so forth. So it's not something that is some personal choice, in quotes, to be vegan. it ceases to be a personal choice when we're torturing and killing 1 to 3 trillion land and aquatic animals every year for mostly trivial reasons of palate pleasure. It ceases to be a personal choice. It's something that if we truly claim that we are for justice and for non-violence, and if we truly believe that animals morally matter, which most of us do, except for, say, serial killers and maybe psychopaths, but most of us believe animals morally matter. So let's stop compartmentalizing and being selective about the animals which we say morally matter, and then eating, wearing, and using all these other animals that have equal sentience, who love life just like we do and do not want to die. Let's stop compartmentalizing that and go vegan. So anyway, I'm hoping that in the not too distant future, I'll be sort of able to do some more more podcast episodes, and I only do podcasts when I feel I have something to contribute, or I feel sort of strongly about something. Not that there are the issues that I don't comment on, I don't have feelings about, or I don't feel strongly about it, but I select certain things that I feel personally I would like to focus on. And so in recent times, I haven't, there are things, of course, I feel strongly about, but I haven't felt like there's much that I can contribute that others haven't already done. And I'm not a journalist, I'm no expert on Nicaragua or any of those other countries where there's been different things happening, and Ukraine. There's a sort of a budding war sort of coming about via Ukraine, and the US meddling, of course. And, you know, the ongoing saber rattling against China. I don't feel that I would rather interview somebody about those issues rather than be trying to explain them myself. As I say, I'm not a journalist. I'm just somebody who, on the internet, that sort of wanted to start a podcast to contribute to some of the discussions about these issues. And also, being on the left, the more voices there are that are anti-capitalist and anti-imperialist, the better, and vegan. That in itself is very important, because it needs to be a real thing on the left, veganism, and that is something I want to see. I want to see that happening all over the left, and unfortunately the left seems to be very slow on the uptake. I feel like I'm back in 2009 again, where when I was doing vegan education, it seemed like it was never ever going to take hold. Well, it's taking hold in the world. It's no longer a fringe philosophy. But I feel like the left is back in 2009, where they're trying to make a lot of people are making excuses for not being vegan, sort of thinking that, oh, I'll do that when I'll become vegan when, you know, capitalism ends and all this nonsense. It's all related. It's all an injustice perpetrated on innocent, vulnerable, sentient beings who have the right not to be used as property. I don't really know what is difficult about that to understand. We have to put aside the speciesist indoctrination that we've been receiving since our birth, and what is reinforced constantly in society. We have to put that aside and re-examine, and with fresh eyes, how we view non-human sentient animals. And once you crack through that speciesism and you realize what you've been doing and what you are participating in, the violence, constant violence, this total appalling violence towards vulnerable sentient animals, just like the dogs and cats whom we love, whom we say are sentient and whom we consider family members. All these animals we eat, you know, the animal products we eat, dairy, eggs, fish, meat, etc., they're all the result of tremendous violence against animals, just like the ones we claim we love. So this is where we have to start thinking differently. Just as when we realize maybe we were racist, or when we think we have racism that we have to undo in ourselves, if we're white people and we've been brought up with privilege and continue to have privilege, it's something we need to address all the time. I remember Ajama Baraka saying, as a black male, he has to address speciesism every day because of the way he was brought up. Sexism. He said he had to address sexism. He has to address sexism every day and dismantle that every day because of the way he was brought up. These are all things we have to examine in ourselves. And the one thing that the left is so behind in, that is being embraced by others, is to be vegan and reject our speciesism, our discrimination against a group based on an irrelevant criterion of species, even though they're sentient. We really have to look at that and see what we're doing. Anyway, so thanks very much for watching. I hope that in the near future, I'll be doing some more. At least we'll be doing some live streams coming up when we get our internet back, hopefully on Wednesday, and maybe we'll do one in the coming week. I'm actually separate. Dee Dee is in a sort of self-isolating upstairs because I had my booster shot, and there's Omicron everywhere in Tasmania. And even though we've been self-isolating since December 15th when they opened up the Tasmanian borders, the first time I've really been out since then was to go and get my booster shot. And I didn't want to, this is the third one, and I didn't want to pick up Omicron just in case it was there at the practice where I was getting my booster shot. We decided that when I came home that Dee Dee would be upstairs and sort of separate from me downstairs, so that if I have Omicron and I picked it up on the same day I got my booster, that I won't pass it on to her because she has asthma and stuff. So anyway, that's so we won't be able to do any. Since we're not in the same room together, we won't be able to do any live streams for probably till probably Sunday week. Till next Sunday. So that's what's happening. And it's funny because I leave sort of, I make food downstairs and leave because there's no kitchen upstairs. It's a completely separate area, but I leave food at the bottom of this ladder because we're still building upstairs. We have downstairs is all fixed and built, etc., but upstairs is still a work in progress. So I'm cooking food and putting it at the bottom of the ladder and sort of going woohoo, and Dee Dee comes down after I leave and has something to eat. So it's a really funny sort of a setup, but better to be safe than sorry. Omicron pretty much is everywhere now, and I feel like this will be the end of this pandemic because Omicron has become the dominant variant, and I think that might be the case, that because it is the dominant variant and because most people in this country anyway are vaccinated, I think it's 92% are double vaccinated at least. I feel like in this country anyway, it's probably, and in the rest of the world, eventually it'll become just like, it'll become like any other flu if people are sort of not naive to that virus sort of thing. So it's not a flu, of course, it's a deadly virus. But I feel like because most people are vaccinated now, or not in the global south, unfortunately, and that is something that is the West's fault. But hopefully that will change. But when eventually, hopefully, most people are vaccinated, and also there will be people that will have had COVID even though they weren't vaccinated, and so they'll have their own kind of immunity if it didn't kill them. And so hopefully it will become a lesser sort of a virus and something that is just another kind of virus that we deal with. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. My name is Trish Roberts. You're watching Faint Signals from Viga. Happy New Year. Till next time. Bye for now.